You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Days of Our Lives fans. So Jeremy Horton is back to Salem and he swears he's a changed man, but those who know about his abusive past think it's all an act. We just saw a little flash of his temper this week and it could be a red flag. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and let's talk about Jeremy Horton and if he is truly changed for the better or if he is still evil. But first, please hit that subscribe. Let's dive in. So Stephanie Johnson's toxic ex, Jeremy, has been back in Salem for a few weeks now. He's living at the Horton house and he was welcomed home with open arms by Julie Williams, Jennifer Horton, and others who have no idea what a bad guy he was years ago, and possibly still is. Jeremy right now is a long-term 5th grade substitute teacher at Salem Elementary. And in addition to being Rachel Black and Thomas DiMera's teacher, we have heard Jeremy swear that he has done a lot of self-work to get to where he is today and that he's not a bad guy anymore. But seeing him again freaked out Stephanie. Her ex-boyfriend showed up at her door with pink roses out of the blue. She was alarmed, but Jeremy said he just wanted to apologize and make amends for his craptacular behavior when they dated many, many years ago. Stephanie accepted the flowers and the apology, but once Jeremy left, she threw the flowers in the trash. And I think that's where Stephanie also thinks Jeremy's lame apology belongs. He terrorized Stephanie, so dropping by with a casual, "Sorry, babe," does not really cover it. And obviously he said more than that, but still, that's what I heard. And of course, Alex Kiriakis isn't happy about Jeremy coming over to their apartment and coming around Stephanie at all. Alex already warned Jeremy to stay away from Stephanie. And so far, Jeremy has. And anytime we've seen him run into Stephanie, like at the bookstore this week, it seemed like a coincidence and not an intentional thing. So the big question is, has Jeremy Horton really changed? I mean, if you look at the way Alex and Stephanie talk about him, it seems to me to be very presumptuous, just at face value. First, they decided with absolutely no proof that Jeremy told Leo Stark that Stephanie is really dirty novelist Anastasia Sands. And then randomly, Alex and Stephanie decided that somehow Jeremy managed to hack a dating app and make sure he got matched to Steph's best friend, Jada Hunter. I mean, is he an ex-pilot and drug dealer, a 5th grade teacher, or is he a master hacker, or maybe all of the above? I was surprised that when Stephanie and Alex said Jeremy was targeting Jada to get to Stephanie, that Jada took that at face value. Because if you think about it, it seems pretty egotistical and presumptive. It has been more than a decade, 2 decades since they dated. And for Stephanie to think that this is all about her, you know, depending on how you interpret that, it seems like maybe not. The only reason that Jeremy figured out Stephanie was the steamy book writer was because she used a sexy incident from back in their pilot and stewardess days to include in her book. But the Days audience knows that it was probably EJ that spilled the tea to Leo to get him off his back when he started asking EJ about the shooting. And don't forget, you know, EJ knew that Stephanie was Anastasia Sands because he knew that somebody was hosting the author Q&A from the hospital during the blackout from the chief of staff office. And EJ was accusing and interrogating Kayla, thinking she wrote the dirty book. But Stephanie came clean about it to get EJ off her mom's case. So he knew, but that hasn't crossed their mind that EJ might tell, even though he is one of the least trustworthy people in Salem. So pretty much anything that gets Alex and Stephanie worked up, they've blamed on Jeremy recently. What's also interesting is that none of his Horton family seems to know about his dodgy past. Patch and Kayla know that Jeremy was a creep to their daughter. And Stephanie just told Alex about the hot tub incident where Jeremy got mad and held her head under the water, but then let her go. I mean, it's bad stuff, but it is from a long time ago. So Jada met Jeremy for a coffee date, and they seemed to be vibing. On the date, Jeremy even opened up and he told Jada that he dated Stephanie back in her racing days. And Jeremy told Jada, yeah, he made some mistakes years ago, but said he has worked hard to be a better man. And Jeremy said he's turned his life around. But after Jada told Jeremy that she and Stephanie dated the same guy before, Everett Lynch, aka Bobby Stein, well, Jada decided that it probably wasn't a good idea for her to get in any deeper with Jeremy because it was just too weird for her after the whole Everett thing. So after Alex and Stephanie told Jada all their wild assumptions about Jeremy that they're stating as fact, Jada then declared she was going to also keep an eye on Jeremy. So now we've got Jada, Alex, and Stephanie all jumping to conclusions about Jeremy still being the creep he used to be. However, that doesn't mean they're not right. They could be right. It just means that we've not seen any hard proof yet that he's the same guy who tormented Stephanie years ago. I mean, people do change. Alex was Salem's biggest man whore not that long ago, and now he is a one-woman man totally devoted to Stephanie. So he should know that people change. After Jada told Jeremy she wouldn't see him again, we did see him having a little temper fit. He tried to smash a pumpkin to the ground. That scene would have been so much more dramatic if Days had sprung for a real gourd for him to smash. Instead, when Jeremy threw it, it kind of bounced away like a Nerf pumpkin, which sort of diminished the effect of him raging and breaking something over, you know, the whole Jada Stephanie thing. I mean, we don't know exactly what ticked him off. I mean, nothing Jeremy's done since he's back justifies the leap of conclusions they're making. Then again, Jeremy may be guilty as heck and the same monster he was before. Maybe when he threw that bouncy pumpkin, Jeremy wasn't mad at Stephanie or Jada, you know, maybe he was mad at himself because his past mistakes are coming back to haunt him now. And maybe he's upset because he has changed and can't convince people, or maybe he's upset that he hasn't changed and he's being outed. It could be either way. On the outside, Jeremy appears to be genuinely nice. Thomas likes him as a teacher and a cousin. Julie and Jen love having Jeremy back in Salem. He and Chad have had positive interactions, but his toxic past is resurfacing, and I think when it does, we're going to see whether he's changed or not based on how Jeremy reacts. Mike Horton is due back in Salem soon. Maybe he'll set the record straight about his son's dodgy past and whether he's gotten real help and whether he thinks his son has changed. Steve knows that Jeremy had some crimes expunged from his record. Jada may look into this. However, you'd think the police commissioner would have done a background check before she met a random dude from a dating app, but apparently she didn't. I mean, it'd be nice if Jeremy Horton really is changed and turned over a new leaf, but then again, that also wouldn't be very soapy. A good villain is always fun.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.